Greater Good Radio. Connect, learn, heal, and grow.
When I have given free sessions to the survivors on Maui, for example, every single one of them, the fires triggered an existential threat. And without exception, every single person that I gave a session to, the feeling of terror every single time, when it floats back to where the feeling started, for every single person, it was not feeling safe in childhood, not feeling seen, not feeling loved. Some of them had narcissistic parents, drug-addicted parents, all kinds of things like that. But the developmental trauma, really, it's almost like children are incapable of saying, I'm a good child, but I think my mother's crazy. Mm-hmm. As the mother, is not available or at worst case, abusive and unavailable. A child doesn't say, oh, that's mommy's fault. I'm a good kid. A child says, it's too scary to think of your parents as not being safe caregivers. So what happens with every child is she doesn't really love me. She says this and this about me. Some of the things mothers and fathers say to their children is just so incredibly awful. And so they are programmed for life with, I'm stupid, if they've been yelled at for not doing well in school. I'm ugly. I'm not good enough. I'm not lovable. I'm inadequate, et cetera, et cetera. I'll never be good enough. One person said, oh, I was called Satan's spawn. That was their cognition through life. I'm evil. I'm Satan's spawn. There's something horrifically wrong with me. And so undoing that, so that's another indicator. There's a lot of developmental trauma is if the program of self-loathing and self-hatred and shame is so thick. I have a specific technique I use in Brainspotting called the program, which is the lie, and finding who treated you like you were incredibly important, that you mattered greatly, that you were special just because you breathed. And if someone has like a benevolent grandmother or a neighbor's family that they could go over and feel embraced and loved, sometimes you can very quickly reprogram that huge trauma. It's pervasive through every thought in their life. But by pendulating between the pain of what mom or dad or whoever programmed you that you were unworthy and shameful, and benevolent grandma, or sometimes it's a higher power who loved me unconditionally, or my neighbor. And it's so interesting because you're keying into two different places in the brain. The brain on the positive that was treated with love and respect and specialness and importance. And then I'm unworthy in every way. And it's so interesting to watch 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds say, oh my gosh, I can't believe my mother over my beautiful grandfather. She has no clue how to love, but my grandfather was an expert in love. How did I ever believe my mother's program over my beloved grandfather? And everything changed after that. This was an MFT who could not pass her exam because she had a cognition given to her by her mother, who is a narcissist, that was, you don't deserve good things. You deserve only bad things. So she wouldn't let herself pass that exam. But we spent a lot of time on the truth of who she was based on how grandpa taught her. And when that was done, she went and took her test. She passed. She went into private practice, and she's free of the dogma or the program that her mother gave her. She's, I think, in her mid-40s, but she talked about it for years. And it was only through Brainspotting that she was able to really, actually, literally laughed at the program and shocked that she would ever believe it.
If you resonate with Greater Good Radio, please join our community at www.greatergoodradio.com, where you can get access to exclusive content and offerings. Hope to see you soon.